Welcome, everybody. My name is Mary Hyatt, and I am super excited that you are here today on a beautiful middle of the week Wednesday morning. And for those of you who don't know me, maybe this is the first time that you are joining me. I'm so glad, first of all, that you are here. But my name, like I said, is Mary Hyatt. And I'm just trying to turn off all my little sweet notifications here really quick. And I am a life coach. I am an entrepreneur, and I'm also a presidential diamond with doTERRA essential oils. And my joy in life is to help women wake up, find their voice, and to become fully alive. So let's start the show. Well, let's see if it'll work. I have this great little bumper that's so awesome, and but I don't think it's going to work today. Like I said, we're having some major technical difficulties, which what that really teaches me, I have to say, is that this is an important topic for today. This is something that I have been thinking about, really working on in my life over the past several years. And there is a lot of resistance when it comes to rejecting and bumping up against this diet culture and the fitness industry, the fashion industry. And I think that what we're going to find today is that we're going to dispel some pretty crazy beliefs in all of those different realms. And so I think all my technical difficulties today is just proving that this is a very important topic. And, you know, there's a lot of people that wouldn't want me to talk about this. It kind of feels like I'm going against, modern propaganda or modern marketing. And I'm really excited about that because my spirit and my personality is a little bit rebellious. Those of you who know me personally, you know that I'm always kind of going against the grain, and this is no exception. But I was thinking about what's sort of wrong with our culture for women that we, especially this time of year that we're facing. So I was this past weekend in Miami Beach with my boyfriend, Bentley, and we were laying out on the beach, and there was a group of women who were standing next to us or laying next to us in their lawn chairs or beach chairs. And it was the craziest conversation. I have been out of the diet world, the fitness industry, the fashion, kind of ring-em-a-war for a long time now, that I feel like I was kind of shocked at this conversation. There are these women there that were the perfect type of body, so to speak, by industry standards. They were probably a size 2. They had fit bodies, abs, beautiful hair, great tan, big boobs. I mean, just like what everybody would describe as culturally beautiful and perfect. So they're laying there, and they start talking all of a sudden about their bodies. And they were all wearing these bikinis. And I'm talking, their bodies are as close to perfect as you could possibly get to industry standards. And they start bashing their bodies, and they start talking about what they're eating and how they're like, oh my God, I can't even imagine that somebody would go to a restaurant and actually order pasta. Like, no woman should order pasta. And I'm like, excuse me, what? I love me some pasta. And so then they were talking about their bodies, and they had a friend, I guess, who wasn't present at the time, but they were talking about her body. And this friend was talking about her fat ass, okay? So this girl was talking about, well, I just had to tell her she had a fat ass because she was trying to wear those size 2 pair of pants. And I just had to finally just tell her, like, she couldn't wear those anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, as somebody who has been a size 20 before, I thought, how could you complain about being a size 2 or a size 4 or a size 10 or size 12 for that matter? You know, it was like that one of those moments where I'm like, oh my gosh. But when I started to hear the dialogue of the body shaming and how they were just talking about all the different flaws in their body, they were talking about how this was wrong and that was wrong, and they were really creating this connection in their selves about body shame. And I looked over at my boyfriend Bentley, And I was like, this is crazy. And I'm so glad that I'm hearing this, because it wasn't these ladies' fault. I mean, the normal response I think that we're taught is to hate skinny people. And like, oh my God, how could she talk about her body? She's perfect. She needs to get over herself. But I actually had this moment of deep compassion for these women, because I thought, here they are, this beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous resort in Miami Beach. You know, they're drinking these drinks. You know, I'm sure a skinny margarita or something to that effect. But they were unable to be present for their life and to really take it in and to enjoy their surroundings, to enjoy what they were experiencing in the here and the now. And instead, they were so preoccupied with the fear of not being loved because of their body shape, or how in shape they were, or not, how many calories they had consumed for that day. And the fear of the next meal, the fear that they may eat something that wasn't the best choice, and all of a sudden now they're quote unquote fat. And which I know, because I've dealt with this process, you think that means you're going to be unlovable. And it just really broke my heart, but it gave me so much insight into the mind of our culture. And if these women who probably spend hours in the gym and count every calorie and watch everything that they eat hate themselves, then what does that mean for the rest of us who aren't going to the gym hours a day, who aren't counting our calories, but still feel this pressure to look a certain way or to lose weight, or ultimately fit in to a culture that I believe is ultimately broken? And so I want to hear from you guys in the comments section. Are you guys experiencing this now that we're rolling into swimsuit season, spring break, bikini weather, and there's all this media attention around getting, bikini ready and getting your body ready to go and all these kinds of things? Are you in this camp where it's very easy for you to feel the pressure to change your body, to eat differently, to work out more now that the winter's over, we're kind of heading into summer? Is that something that you guys experience? Just comment below and just say, yes, no, this is what I struggle with, this is what's going on. Because for me, I had to make a very conscious mental decision with a lot of intention to show up at the beach this past weekend and choose to love my body, to feel content and proud of where it is currently right now at its state, and to not spend my entire vacation worried about how I was looking, and instead really being present. And for me, that was challenging. It was the first time that I'd ever been to the beach where that actually happened, where I actually was able to wear a bathing suit that I felt good in, and that I wasn't looking in the mirror and picking apart every part of my body and telling myself that I should probably not even be on the beach. I should be embarrassed. I should cover up. Everybody looks better than me. How could you go out like that? I mean, all of the old tapes that I used to play, I had very actively through, this is, the course of a lot of work that I've done over the past several years, I had to choose to not obsess about my body and instead be present and enjoy my surroundings and my experience. So you guys are saying yes, that you are experiencing this daily, hourly, Alice, you said, and I so get that. I have so been there. It's something that I have to consciously work on every single day. But there is a massive amount of pressure that we are under. And it probably for men, but I'll speak to women, that for us, it's intense. Like, we believe we have to have a perfect body before we step outside. We can't even bend over without thinking about our stomachs and what it's doing and squishing and showing our fat. For me, my thighs touch, and so I have to think about, can I walk? Can I wear shorts? Can I wear a skirt? What's that going to look like? What's that going to feel like? And guys, as always, this is such a safe community where we celebrate body diversity and health at every size. So let's comment together. You guys encourage each other, and let's see if this is something that we're all struggling with. But the industry, the diet culture and the fashion industry, the fitness industry plays on this, and really to me has created this epidemic of body shame and body dysmorphia, honestly. There was an ad a while ago, I can't remember if it was Dove Body that did this or some other company, but what they did is they had a woman go up to a line of different women. So one person was looking at a line of different women of all different shapes and sizes. And from the left side to the right side, it was smaller to bigger. So these are real women standing side by side, and they're like maybe a size 2 to, like, let's say a size 20. And so what they did is they had the person who was standing there outside of the group, and they said, all right, go place yourself in between the two people whose size that you think you are. And it was fascinating. I think every single person, every single woman ended up placing herself between two women that she was much smaller than. Like, they were many sizes bigger than her actual size. So of course you got to see this in real time and see that her body was much smaller than the bodies that she was placed next to. And there is a massive dysmorphia that we have in our minds, and I can so relate to this, where we think that we are quote unquote fat no matter what size we're at. I don't care if you are a size 2 or a size 20. We think that something is wrong with us. We think that something is worse than it actually is. And the diet culture has fed us this lie so that it can sell us products. So the diet culture, the diet industry, the weight loss industry is made up of companies that are developing weight loss programs, that are supporting diet loss, and it's a over $64 billion industry, and that number was taken from 2014, y'all, which is crazy to me. $64 billion go towards making you believe that you are fat, that you need to diet, that you need to exercise more, and that you're not good enough. So if you see ads, if you see all of these different things that are happening right now in the season in particular that are talking about getting ready for spring, getting on a diet, counting calories, weighing yourself, working out at the gym more, starting to compare yourself to the people next to you, this is billions and billions of dollars to make you feel inadequate in order to buy some kind of product. And I just want to call bullshit on that, because it is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And for me, part of my journey back to loving my body and making peace with food has been being able to identify the common diet myths. And so I want to share those with you. I want to share my top diet culture myths so that you can begin to pick this out for yourself, that you can begin to see where you're being brainwashed, where it's not even your fault. And we all think that there's something wrong with me. Something is desperately wrong with me, that I can't lose weight, or that I can't look like her, or that I would never wear that. Something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong with me. And like I said, y'all, I'm so sorry to say, but I am absolutely going to call bullshit on this. And I want to liberate you from these myths, because they're lies that this industry has told you. And it's creating so much suffering and so much focus on our bodies that we can't even be present with life. And it breaks my heart, honestly, because I have lived so much of my life there. And I feel like now I'm getting to the place where I'm experiencing so much more freedom. And that's why I'm creating my course, which is all around these issues about coming back home to your body and loving it again. We gotta get into these myths, okay? So the first myth that people have in this space, in the culture of dieting, is that your body is broken and that it needs to be fixed, that something is wrong with you. Now, I want to rewind a second, and I want you to remember a time before you thought your body was broken. You may have to rewind really, really far. This may have to be when you were a little girl, before your first thought that something was wrong with your body, before your first thought that you can't wear that, before your first thought that you have to go on a diet. I can remember in 5th grade, I went on a cabbage soup diet and starved myself for a week because I thought I was too fat in 5th grade. Like, how horrible is that? And I know that so many of us have those memories. And I had to go back pretty far to go, oh yeah, remember when I had no thought about being embarrassed about my body? Remember when I could play and move my body and I was not self-conscious. I wasn't even aware that people might be looking at my body or judging it. I just moved the way that I wanted to move. I ate what I wanted to eat. And I listened to my body. I can remember as a little girl, I was anemic. And so I took a lot of naps. And I had no shame around taking a nap. If I was tired, I would nap. And now there's like this whole stigma around taking care of your body. And, you know, if you actually want to sleep and take a nap, then you must be lazy. You know, why can't you do more? But there's this moment when we started to buy into the belief that our body is broken and that it needs to be fixed. And so we have to rewind and remember that it was never broken in the first place. But someone, somewhere along the way, told us that it wasn't good enough and that we needed to change something. So that's a myth. That is a lie that we have been fed that isn't true. And so I really want to get clear on that. The first myth of this diet culture is that our body is broken and that it needs to be fixed. Okay, so now the second, and I'm having to look at my screen here to get everything going. The second myth of our diet culture is that you cannot trust your body. And I'm loving your comments, guys. This is so awesome to hear where you are in this journey and what's coming up for you. But the second myth is you cannot trust your body, which means your body and its needs cannot be trusted and they need to be ignored. And that your needs are even considered dangerous and are at odds with your health and fitness. So you cannot trust your body. If your body wants to eat something, don't trust it. If your body wants to take a break from working out, don't trust it. You know, we are at this place where we don't have any understanding that what our bodies are actually saying to us could be the thing that we need for our ultimate healing and for our health. But instead, we don't listen. We don't sleep when we need to sleep. We don't eat when we're hungry. If we're full, sometimes we overeat and we don't listen to our fullness. We don't enjoy our food anymore. And you just cannot trust your body. If it needs something, we ignore that need. I can't tell you how many times my body has felt like it needed to rest, or that it needed to drink more water, or that it needed to have a cupcake, or it needed some red meat and I needed a burger. And I was like, no, I have to eat a salad, you know, or no, I need to work past this exhaustion. Whatever it is, we stop trusting our body and we start listening to everything else out there, which brings me to the third myth that is just so crazy to me, but is so common, and there's no shame in this. This is something that is happening to all of us. The third myth is that we believe that we are not the expert, that everybody else is the expert on our bodies except for us. That we basically look around and say, tell me what to do. What diet should I go on? What should I do? And we stop hearing the own internal wisdom that we have for our bodies. And we look to every single else as the expert. And we get to the place where we think, you know, a doctor or a trainer or a nutritionist or Hollywood News or the diet you find in your People magazine is going to be that thing that is going to fix us, right? So if myth number one is that we're broken, then we need an expert to tell us that there's something we can do. And herein lies the industry where people are now purchasing all kinds of things that will fix them. And so we trust all these different experts to tell us about our body, to tell us what's wrong with it, to tell us how to fix it, all along we're not even clued in to our own selves, our own intuition, our own body wisdom to know, is that the right thing for my body? Is that what I need at this time? And I am under the belief that no eating style, no diet, no nutritional plan is right for everyone else. And you guys know, if you follow me enough, you know that I subscribe to the intuitive eating lifestyle, which means that there are no diets. There are no eating plans. There are no nutritional guides. You intuitively listen to your body for what it's asking for and what it needs. So that third myth is that we believe that we are not the expert and that everybody else is. All right. Now, the fourth myth is very interesting to me, and you'll see why. But fat is bad. Can anybody give me an amen that you have fallen into the myth, that we've all bought into this concept that fat is bad? That being fat is bad. We have a massive fat phobia in our society. Now, like I said, I am a huge fan of body positivity and body diversity. And every single person's body is going to be different. But the idea here, no matter if you are a size 2 or if you are a size 24, the belief and the myth is that you need to lose weight. Like, who on here actually thinks they don't need to lose weight? If you feel like, and kudos to you, if you are at the point where you've already made peace with your body and you love it, but I would venture to say that everybody listening right now, all of you guys on, are experiencing this need to lose weight. In some way, some shape, somehow, you got to lose weight, especially now that we're getting into springtime and you're going to be in front of the mirror in a bathing suit on the beach, at the pool, maybe if you even allow yourself to do that. But you got to lose weight, right? So fat is bad, fat phobia. In children, in adults, in anyone, men or women, fat is bad. So we have bought into this belief that we really don't buy into health at every size. We buy into skinny is health. Skinny is the only thing that is going to allow us acceptance as society, is going to give us the love and respect that we deserve. So fat is bad. So there's a lot of shaming around fat, quote unquote, fatness, fat people, all that kind of stuff. I could get into a whole conversation about this because it's crazy when you start looking at how our diet culture and the fitness industry shame fat. We're reducing our body fat. For women, we're glorifying these bodies that are 0% body fat, which is not healthy for your hormones, which is not healthy for a female body. It's not good because we're so terrified of fat. Now, the fifth myth that we're going to experience in our diet culture is that there is a perfect size. Y'all know this. This is probably the most obvious one, but this has really been given a lot of attention with the fashion industry. And so, for the past several years, we have seen this shift between sort of the Marilyn Monroe body to a very, very, very thin, sort of childlike body. And that's sort of the ideal. And this changes every decade or so, sort of what is the ideal body type. And so right now, we're sort of in this type where it's that sort of hourglass shape, really, really, really thin waist. Think of Barbie, okay? Really thin waist, big boobs. Now we're getting into the big ass. And that is the ideal perfect size. And it's all propaganda. It's all brainwashing from the media. And so if you don't have a body that looks like that, then again, it goes back to our first myth. Something is wrong with you. Something is broken inside of you that needs fixed. So we're under the belief that there is a perfect size. And here's the reality. Whatever the industry determines is the perfect size, like less than 1% of the population actually falls within that ideal. Think about that for a second. So what they have named as the perfect size, less than 1% of people actually naturally are that way. Now, there are some people who are naturally hourglass shaped, who do have naturally big breasts, who do have a naturally small waist, which is great, which is fine. That is just one body type amongst so many other body types. But to think that we all have to be that way, think about how crazy that is for just a moment. When was the last time you walked around your town and you looked at all the body types? I just did this recently. And I was noticing all the different types of people, the shapes, the sizes, the weights, the height. And I thought, all of these people walking around right now hate themselves because they're not falling into the 1% that the industry, the $64 billion plus industry, has decided is the perfect size. They're all thinking they're imperfect in some way. So 99% of people walking around are not going to be that. And it's probably going to change in the next 10 years anyway, so you can't even keep up with what they decide is ideal. The best description of this I think about is eyebrow style. Okay, so like really thick eyebrows are in right now. And you guys remember in the 90s when really thin eyebrows were in? I can remember plucking my eyebrows ad nauseum, that I still have to pencil in my eyebrows now because they won't even grow. But it's like the trends are going to change. But we're talking about people's bodies here. You were given a specific body that is natural for you. And sure, it can morph and it can change a little bit. But the reality is that you're probably never going to fit into that ideal type, no matter what it is. And so are you going to hate yourself for the rest of your life? So there is this myth that we believe that there is this perfect size, which is, when you really break it down, common sense, it makes no sense, okay? So the sixth myth that we come across, I think mostly in the fitness industry, is that all you need is more willpower to get up and to work out. All you need is more willpower. And the interesting thing about this is that if you fall into this trap, you think, man, if I could just get more energy, if I could just try harder. There's these, memes out there on Instagram like, be stronger than your excuses, or the only bad workout is the one you didn't do. Or stop being jealous of her body and do something about yours. There's this concept that if you could just get the willpower, then it would fix everything. The problem is actually the fact that you don't have enough willpower. And so that's all you need. It's such bullshit. And I know I keep saying that word because I really want to call it for what it is, but this fitness industry is so crazy. Like, it's not about willpower. It's not that I just need to, get over my excuses and get into the gym. We have such a culture that has triggered us in so many ways that it is very challenging for people to get back into the gym because of body shame. Because we are embarrassed, because we know people are going to be comparing themselves to us. And again, it goes back to, we don't even listen to our bodies to even know if we wanted to move our bodies out of joy and out of love, it would be so different than just going and beating ourselves out in the gym because somebody said that's the only way to be healthy. And so in a way, there's this sort of rebellion by not going to the gym. So there's a whole emotional thing that's happening below the surface that has nothing to do with willpower. When I kind of got to the place where I felt like where I actually really wanted to move my body, but I knew I couldn't step inside of the gym because it was going to be too triggering for me, I decided to go on walks in nature. Like, that was a way that I didn't have triggers around that. And that's the way my body wanted to move. And I had to release all the stigma around, this is a workout and try harder and do it. It was about listening to my body. How does it want to move? And does it have the energy to move today? Does it need to rest? And so that's kind of the sixth myth, really, is that all you need is willpower. And then you have all this shame if you don't have enough willpower. Now, the seventh myth is that you need more exercise and less food. Okay, how many people fall into this on a daily basis? You're thinking about what you're eating and you go, oh my gosh, I ate this. Now I got to overcompensate and work out and burn off those calories, and calories in versus calories out. And am I burning enough? Am I eating well, whatever? And we get in this psycho. We have to exercise more and eat less, which is a perfect example of eating disorder behavior. Okay? No pain, no gain. When your body says no, you keep going anyways. You know, there's all these memes that say things like, today I'm going to love myself enough to exercise. Or, it's the days when your body aches, the desire is low, you feel tired and you feel weak. Those are the days when champions train. No thanks. I don't want to be a champion. Because my body is telling me that it needs to slow down and rest. But we buy into this more exercise. If I just do more, I'll burn off the fat, I'll burn off the calories. And then if I could restrict my food, making sure I don't nourish my body, making sure that I deprive it and that I starve it and that I don't drink enough water when I'm thirsty, then that will make me skinny, and then I'll get to lose weight, and then I'll be more lovable. And now all is well, right? That's such a myth. More exercise, less food. That is a myth. And I'm going to get into, in my course that I'm creating, get into how you actually combat all of these. But the first piece of this is to become aware that you are being brainwashed from the industry, that they're feeding you these lies and these beliefs, okay? So the 8th myth out of 10 is that numbers trump all. This to me is one of the most destructive patterns that I see in a lot of the clients that I work with in my coaching practice, is that ultimately they are always hyper focused on the number on the scale and the inches of their waist or the inches of their thighs. And the only results that they care about or they believe matter are the numbers. So the numbers trump all. You can decide whether you're going to have a good day or a bad day based on the number on the scale. When you go shop, you feel good or you feel horrible, and it's either going to make an awesome day or a horrible day based on the size of pants that you purchase. Like, you've all been there. I've so been there, where we go to the store and we start shopping for something and we end up being a size 12 instead of a size 10, and all of a sudden our life is over, and how could we have let ourselves get this fat? And oh my gosh, people are going to notice, and they're going to be able to, see with x-ray vision into the size of our pants, and all of a sudden we're back to that fat phobia, and we should be, outcasts of society and just hide and wear yoga pants inside of our house all day and not let anybody see us. It's such a very slippery slope when all we're focusing is on the numbers, when the numbers equate to our sense of self-worth, when the numbers equate to our deservability to be loved or not, when the numbers are dictating whether we think we are fat or skinny, when the numbers are dictating whether we think we are ugly or beautiful. And so one of the myths that the diet culture is feeding us is that numbers trump all. That's the only way you're going to know if you're healthy or not, or that you are, ready to put on a swimsuit or not, is by the weight on the scale and the size of your pants. Nope. Bullshit. Calling it, y'all. I'm going to call it every single time, because these are myths. These are lies. This is not truth. So I want you to begin to see this and recognize in yourself when you fall into these diet myths. Now, the second to last diet myth that I want to talk about is that self-shaming is funny. So for those of us who are at the place where we go, I don't even care. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what I wear. I'm just going to go out. Like, I know I'm never going to be a model, so forget it, right? That's kind of the other end of the spectrum. You have body obsession, and then you also have the other side where you sort of say, forget it, I'm not playing that game. And so we start actually self-shaming ourselves to make up for the fact that we actually still are self-conscious and we're embarrassed. So we start shaming our body, our own body. So instead of picking apart other people, now it's directed inward towards ourselves. So a meme that I saw on Instagram said, when the bikini pics start flooding my feed, I have to remind myself I have a good personality. Or the moment you wake up and your muffin top is a pound cake. Or I'm fat, but I'll text you back in 3 minutes. I'm funny and I'll buy you food. Right? So this is a pattern that is a myth that we, as long as we make it funny, as long as we make a joke out of it, then we'll be okay. And so this is a pattern that I see in people that actually are very insecure with where their body is at, and they don't want to get into the whole diet cycle. And so they will instead just shame themselves and try to make a joke out of it. So it's very interesting. That behavior is really, really interesting. Now, the final and last, and actually I don't know that I even got it on here. I don't think I have my slide for this because we were experiencing so many technical difficulties at the beginning. I didn't get it on there. But the last, oh wait, no, I did. Here we go. The last diet myth that I see, oh, that looks really funky. Sorry, guys. The last myth that I see is buying into the belief that there are good foods and that there are bad foods. That we are either being good or we're cheating. And so a little saying is, skip dinner, wake up thinner. Or don't listen to your inner fatty. Or I hear my clients say all the time, oh, I cheated really bad this week. Or I'm going to have a cheat night tonight and eat dessert. And we have this language around good foods and bad foods. Even in the health industry, gluten is bad, wheat is bad, sugar is bad, corn is bad, soy is bad, all these different things. And we have identified these foods that we should eat or we shouldn't eat. And based on our food choices, whether we should eat something or shouldn't eat something, that makes us a bad person or a good person. We have self-control, no self-control. We are cheating, and then we're going to be on our best behavior. Versus actually listening to our body and having zero limitations on our food, but really getting in tune with what is at the core of our body's need. And beginning to intuitively listen to our bodies more and more. But one of the myths in both the fitness industry and the diet culture is that there are good foods and there are bad foods. How often are you obsessing about what you eat, thinking you made a good decision or a bad decision? And that if you make a bad decision, now you're a bad person. You have no willpower. You have no self-control. You're going to be fat, which means everybody's going to reject you. And you can see how all these myths sort of build on top of each other. So it's really a very, very intricate system that this industry has created, all to lead you to the place where you purchase some solution, some product, a magazine, a book, a diet plan, a meal plan, this or that. Anything that you can imagine in our culture that is popular is usually geared around some way. We know you hate yourself because we made sure that you did, and now we have this beautiful thing that we're going to give you. And it's like everything plays on this. For example, that whole concept of treat yourself. Okay, so I walked by a cupcake place the other day, and it said, oh, come on, you know you want to treat yourself. That was like the sandwich board on the outside of the cupcake place. Oh, just treat yourself. That is diet culture, because we're believing that in order to give myself permission to eat something that's quote unquote bad, I have to know that I'm just treating myself. And so start noticing the language that really basically gives you either shame, guilt, makes you feel inadequate, makes you feel like that there's something wrong with you, makes you feel that you have to do something in order to be loved, that you can't eat this or you can't eat that, that you should do this and not that, that you should work out 5 days a week, that you should weigh yourself every day, that this is better than that. And if you just did this, or if you took this supplement or whatever, all of a sudden, all your problems will be fixed. Your body will be great. Everybody will love you. And life is good again. These are all myths. These are all lies that the industry has not only created the problem, they've also created the solution. And I want to kind of like wake you up to this, because you're not a pawn. You're not somebody who is just walking around, you know, just subjected to all of this manipulation. You get to choose. You get to decide, I'm not going to play into this anymore. I'm not going to buy into all of these beliefs, all of these lies, all of these myths that my body is broken, that something's wrong with it and I have to fix it. No, the real answer is coming back into a place of loving your body as it is now, for cultivating this beautiful, intentional relationship with your body where you end the war with your body. You make peace with food. You listen intuitively to your body's needs and you honor them. And you don't play into collective body shaming, where all you talk about is how this is wrong or that is wrong, and judging everybody that walks by and comparing yourself to everyone. That you realize that it's okay to have needs for your body, that you want to eat different things, and that every single size on the spectrum is beautiful and is worth loving and is worth taking care of and is worth nurturing and nourishing. And there are a lot of eating disorder behaviors that are so popular in today's culture that we are so close. We are one step away from actually having eating disorders, body dysmorphia, binging and purging, and anorexia and bulimia, and all of these massive issues. For those of you who don't quote unquote have an eating disorder, you're this close because of what the industry has fed you in the way of lies and myths. You're this close. And we're already on that train of eating disorder behavior, believing that something is wrong with us. We have to fix it with our behaviors, what we eat and how we move our bodies. And we've stopped listening to it. So I want to break that cycle. I am like, oh my God, I'm so freaking passionate about this right now. And on this journey to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm so over having to feel horrible about my body and hate it and get into the place where I can't even be in a bathing suit or try on any clothes without hating myself. I don't want to live a life like that. I don't want to live a life where I can't even be present because I am so obsessed about food that I can't even focus on the conversation at hand. I want to, with you guys, break this cycle, call bullshit on these 10 diet culture myths, and do it in a different way. And so what you're going to see from me is a shift in talking about this more and more, talking about our relationship with our body, talking about the relationship with our plate, how we can come to a place of trusting ourselves again, where we can trust what we eat, trust what our body wants, and honor and listen to it. So I just wanted to really dispel those myths, to at least bring awareness to them, and you can begin to start picking apart how you're falling into that trap, that it's not you. It's not you. Oh my God, it's not you. It's the industry and what they have fed you. And I want to shift that. So I hope that you will join me on this journey as we move forward to finding ways to come to a place of more peace with our body and with more food. So guys, I am so grateful that you have been with me. Sorry again about all the technical difficulties and getting on late, but I'm so glad that you're here and that you joined me. And as I always say, the purpose of life is to be grateful, to be great, and to be full. So guys, thanks so much, and I will see y'all next week.